Hi guys, I want to chat to you about the 10 Cardinal leadership principles that are in the Leadership Field Guide from Edge Growth. I want to give you my personal perspective on those, and I'm only going to select for this video 3 of them. Right? The first is hope for the best, plan for the worst. Second is cash is king, and the third related one is survival of the fastest. Okay, so hope for the best. We all love doing that. Most entrepreneurs are really good at thinking about the future, thinking about what could happen, what would be, all the possibilities are always brimming over, and you are really excited about what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. That's what drives us. And when you get into a crisis mode, the tendency is to still try and be positive, and you should be. You need to still hope for the best, but you need to put in plans that are going to help your business survive the storm, right? It's not just worth having optimism. You really need to be able to have enough cash going forward and have the right business plan, the right strategy, the right approach to deal with the reality of the changes that have come. So as an entrepreneur, you always have to try and balance these two. It's really tough. It's the optimism and the vision that you are bringing into the business, that you want to take it forward, where you want it to go. And right now, unfortunately, that needs to be put on hold to some degree. Still have optimism that there's a future out there, but right now, knuckle down, get your planning done, and get your strategy changed, get your execution changed, get your team ready, and get it sorted out for the actual new reality. My experience has been very hard to switch gears like that, to come into the office and say, what's my primary focus? My primary focus is stabilizing the business and getting it onto a stable ground, stable footing with a secure future. On top of that, you can then go back to building your vision. Second thing is cash is king. It's something everybody knows, but have you actually taken the time to go through every single line item that you spend on a monthly basis? Look at everything that comes off the credit card, everything that goes to the bank account, and ask yourself the question, what value is it adding to my business? If I did not have it, what impact would it bring? We typically think of costs in 3 areas. That there's fat, muscle, and bone, right? You want to cut fat anytime, right? Right the way through business, even when you're thriving, you want to cut fat. Muscle is something that helps your business to do what it needs to do. It's very powerful, it's very important. You want to cut as little muscle as possible, but sometimes you still have to lean down a little bit and cut some of that off. Bone is what is the infrastructure of your business, and if you cut into that, you are seriously affecting your ability to grow in future. But you may still have to. So you have to make a decision. Every line item, everything that's in there, cut it. My advice to you is take a team approach, get more input, get everybody else's views. It's not just you as the entrepreneur who's got to make a decision about whether you need some important materials or some important software. It's a team effort. And I found when I opened it up, my team actually had some really good insight as to what the value those things actually brought them, and they questioned some of the reasons and decisions that I had made about those costs. So very, very valuable from a personal perspective is to take those other viewpoints into account. And finally, survival of the fittest. Companies have 2 options. And company A is one which holds on, doesn't make decisions quickly, dithers a little bit. And in the crisis, there's a lot of indecision. They don't know which direction to go. So they take quite a long time to make the first cuts, and they make a small cut first. And then they find that the business is still struggling and cash is running out, and now they make deeper cuts, and then the cash is finished and it's too late. They've got no options anymore, they've got no freedom to move, and that business shuts down. The second company cuts quick, cuts early, maybe cuts some things it doesn't absolutely need to, but what it does, it conserves cash, gives itself time, gives itself options. It may need to cut them a little bit more in future, but it will find that it gets the upswing a lot faster than company A, which took a lot longer to make those initial deep cuts. Buy yourself time, buy yourself options, cut deep and cut fast, right? But the faster you do it, the better you're going to be, right? So companies who can move quickest in this time are those that execute changes on their strategy, execute changes on their cost structure, execute changes in execution, things which they know they have to do. What I like to think of is that this period is like taking a telescope and converting it into a magnifying glass. So something that looked like something you had to do a long time from now, or you had a lot of time, isn't there anymore. You haven't got the luxury of time. You need to do it right now. Like being on a magnifying glass, extreme focus on these things, get it done right now. Those companies that do that fastest, they survive. They do well. We've seen that in our business. We have already actually, before COVID, had to make cuts, had to make changes. During COVID, we had to implement those even faster and bring forward a lot of the future changes and implementation ideas that we had to now get it done, get through it. And I'm actually very grateful for that focus, for that intense focus under the magnifying glass in this period, because it's really set us up well for a business that's in the right place for the new market going forward, and we're growing as a result. So, just to cap off, there are three important things. The first three principles of the Cardinal Leadership Principles is hope for the best, plan for the worst, cash is king, and survival of the fastest. You can implement those right away, your business is going to be in a better position. And watch the next videos coming up. We'll cover the rest of the 10 leadership principles, and I'll give you my personal opinion on that. Thanks very much. Cheers.